all love football. The glory, the heartbreak, and most importantly, the goals. There's a reason why it's the world's most popular sport after all. But as seasoned fans, we know better than to pretend clean passes and golden boots are all there is to it. With its fair share of shady moments and downright insane controversy, football is scandal-ridden. From bribery scandals to actual murders, there's always something new to learn about this worldwide sport. In this video, we'll walk you through the history of football's biggest scandals, starting from the early 20th century. So, without any delay, let's kick off. Let's start with a trip back to the early 1900s. This was a time when football was still finding its feet and the rules were, well, a bit more flexible. In the 1904-05 season, Manchester City was chasing the league title. Their final match was against Aston Villa, a game they needed to win. Billy Meredith, their star winger, allegedly offered Villa's Alex Leake £10, a substantial sum at the time, to throw the match. Villa won 3-2, and the incident sparked a brawl between City's Sandy Turnbull and Leake, leading to an investigation. The Football Association FA suspended Meredith for a year and fined him despite a lack of concrete evidence. Meredith, feeling scapegoated, exposed City's practice of paying players above the £4 weekly wage cap. This revelation led to severe penalties. Manager Tom Malley was banned for life, 17 players were suspended, and the club was fined £900. Now let's fast forward to 1980, Italy's Serie A, easily the hottest league in Europe. But behind the scenes, things weren't looking so glamorous. The Totonero scandal, which dragged in players, referees and even club officials, ended up rocking Italian football to its core. Top clubs like AC Milan and Lazio were caught up in match fixing, betting scandals and bribery. The scandal came to light when players were accused of throwing games for cash. Paolo Rossi, who would later lead Italy to World Cup glory in 1982, was banned for 2 years because he was caught in the act. Serie A teams were handed major fines, relegations and suspensions left and right. The impact? Huge. Italian football as a whole sport was forced to clean up its act because of this problem. Next up on the list, we have the Heysel Stadium incident. It was May 29, 1985, the European Cup final between Liverpool and Juventus at Brussels' Heysel Stadium. Right an hour before kickoff, things got out of hand. Liverpool fans breached a thin barrier put up to separate them from Juventus supporters. In the chaos, Juventus fans fled, and many were crushed against a collapsing wall. This resulted in a terrifying 39 deaths and over 600 injuries. The stadium's less than ideal condition and lack of crowd control were the main causes. Surprisingly, despite the catastrophe, the match proceeded and Juventus won 1-0. The aftermath was that the English clubs faced a 5-year ban from European competitions, and 14 Liverpool fans were convicted of involuntary manslaughter. In the end, this disaster led to serious changes in stadium safety and crowd management all over Europe. No football fan can forget the 1994 World Cup, especially considering the incident that followed it. Colombia, entering as a favourite, faced an early exit. So why did that happen? The answer lies in the Colombia vs USA match. During the match, the defender of the cup and star player Andres Escobar accidentally scored an own goal. This led to a 2-1 defeat and Colombia's early departure from the match, much to fans' dismay. Then, upon returning to Medellin, Escobar was fatally shot on July 2nd, 1994. The murder was widely believed to be linked to his shooting his own goal in the World Cup, proving the intense pressures and violence surrounding football in Colombia at the time. This incident became a dark mark on the sport's history. It's still one of the most shocking events in World Cup history. In 1994, English football was shaken up by the infamous Bungs scandal. The term bung refers to under-the-table payments made to managers or officials to influence player transfers. A prominent case involved Arsenal's manager George Graham, who accepted a whopping £425,000 from agent Rune Haig. He took the money in exchange for signing two players, John Jensen and Paul Iderson. This led to Graham's dismissal in 1995 and destroyed his reputation. The scandal shed light on the murky dealings in football transfers. As a result, it prompted the Football Association to tighten regulations, serving as a wake-up call. The next event on the list is one that sparked mass outrage when it happened back in 2002. The World Cup opener between Brazil and Turkey saw Rivaldo attracting hate because of a blatant act of simulation. Preparing to take a corner, Turkey's Hakan Ünsal, frustrated by Rivaldo's delay, kicked the ball toward him, striking his thigh. Rivaldo collapsed, clutching his face as if it hit there. The referee was deceived by the theatrics and issued Ünsal a second yellow card, resulting in his dismissal. FIFA later fined Rivaldo 11,500 Swiss francs, over £5,000, for feigning injury. This marked the first punishment under FIFA's new strict crackdown on simulation. Despite the controversy though, Rivaldo remained unrepentant, stating, "I am not sorry about anything." This infamous dive is still one of the most discussed events in World Cup history. In 2005, Brazilian football was rocked by the Mafia do Apito, aka the Whistle Mafia scandal. Referee Edilson Pereira del Carvalho confessed to fixing 11 top-flight matches after accepting bribes from gamblers. His goal? Just aiming to manipulate outcomes for betting profits. He admitted to receiving as much as between 10,000 and 50,000 Brazilian reals per match, blaming personal debts as his motivation. Another referee, Paulo Jose Danilon, also admitted to fixing games in the second division. The reaction was nothing less than chaotic. The Brazilian Football Confederation annulled 11 matches, all of which were replayed. Carvalho received a lifetime ban from officiating, and both referees face criminal charges. In 2011, a civil court fined Carvalho and the Brazilian Federation $96 million for their roles in the scandal. In 2006, Italian football faced another shock, thanks to Calciopoli, a scandal that made Serie A feel more like a mafia movie than a football league. Leaked wiretaps revealed that top clubs, especially Juventus, were influencing referee appointments to get decisions in their favour. Juventus's general manager Luciano Moggi was the mastermind who regularly called referee officials to suggest preferred appointees. The result of this mess? Even more problems. For starters, Juventus was stripped of their 2005 and 2006 titles and relegated to Serie B, a shocking first for such an influential club. AC Milan, Fiorentina, Lazio and Regina also faced point deductions and fines. Not just that, but Moggi himself was banned from football and later found guilty in court. Early 2010 saw Major League Soccer face a potential lockout. This was when the MLS Players Union and league officials clashed over contract rights and player movement. But really, at the heart of this dispute was the league's single entity structure. It limited players' freedom to move between teams and usually left them with weak contracts. A new 5-year collective bargaining agreement was reached after intense negotiations. It was just days before the season start. The deal guaranteed contracts for many players and established a re-entry draft which allowed out-of-contract players to be selected by other teams. While the agreement stopped short of granting full free agency, it marked a significant step towards improved player rights within the league. Our next scandal is a high-profile match-fixing conspiracy that took over South Korean football in 2011. What was this thrilling case? Well, investigations revealed that players were accepting match-fixing bribes from brokers, even up to 5 million won per game. The scandal came to light after the suicide of Incheon United goalkeeper Yoon Ki-won. This victim was reportedly distressed by the corruption in the K-League. In total, 57 players were implicated, with 41 receiving lifetime bans from all football activities, sanctions later extended globally by FIFA. The case even led to the cancellation of the K-Cup League, causing the government to threaten the league's dissolution unless reforms were implemented. That wasn't all the year 2011 had in store for football fans. That very year, Chinese football was also caught up in a major corruption scandal. According to police reports, the sport in China was prey to widespread match fixing, with over 50 individuals facing charges. This included top officials, referees and players, like notably former Chinese Football Association head Shi Yalong and Nan Yong. Those two were each sentenced to 10.5 years in prison for accepting bribes. And then prominent referee Lu Jun, dubbed the Golden Whistle, also received a 5.5-year sentence. Next up, it was 2013, with the biggest scandal in football history, and it hit El Salvador's national football team. After match-fixing scandal, this incident led to lifetime bans for 14 players. It turns out that these players accepted bribes to manipulate outcomes in several international matches, which included a heartbreaking 5-0 loss to Mexico in the 2011 Gold Cup, and on top of that, a 4-2 defeat against Paraguay in 2012. The country's football federation, FESFUT, suspended 22 players before imposing lifetime bans on 14 and shorter suspensions on others. FIFA extended these sanctions globally, barring the players from participating in football activities worldwide. Once again, a World Cup incident. 2014 had Uruguay's Luis Suarez making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Defending a crucial match against Italy, Suarez did something strange. He bit defender Giorgio Chiellini on the shoulder. While a shocking act, it wasn't his first offence. So FIFA responded with a record-breaking punishment, a 4-month ban from all football activities. Moreover, a 9-match international suspension with a fine of 100,000 Swiss francs stacked on for good measure. Initially, Suarez claimed he lost balance and accidentally hit Chiellini with his teeth, but he later issued a public apology, expressing regret and promising such an incident would never happen again. Against all the odds though, Suarez received a hero's welcome upon returning to Uruguay. In May 2015, FIFA faced its biggest scandal. US authorities had indicted 14 officials and marketing executives. Their charges ranged from racketeering to wire fraud, and even money laundering. Immediately, the Swiss police arrested 7 FIFA officials in Zurich, just before the organisation's annual congress. The charges centred on $150 million in bribes exchanged for media and marketing rights to tournaments like the World Cup and Copa America, stunningly dating back to 1991. The then FIFA president, Sepp Blatter, though not indicted, resigned within days, even after winning re-election. Last in our historical list is Operation Clean Hands, a scandal that changed Belgian football. In 2019, Belgian authorities came across proof of rampant corruption that implicated top-tier clubs, agents, referees and executives. These people were running schemes of money laundering, tax evasion and match fixing, and their crimes have particularly affected relegation battles in the 2017-18 season. Among them, KV Mechelen was found guilty of trying to fix a match against Waasland Beveren. True to match-fixing cases, sanctions along with a ban from European competitions followed. Player agents Mogi Bayat and Dejan Velkovic were two other focal personalities charged with directing illegal financial transactions and exploiting matches. Football, an unpredictable, dramatic and beautiful sport. With its solid repertoire of scandals like corruption and match fixing to blindsiding violent movements, it's not to be taken lightly. Even though it ends up getting overwhelming because of the news, for most of us, it's not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. Scandals are part of every widely loved sport, and football is no exception.